Coming up on today's show, in preparation for the upcoming Furiosa release, we go back to 2015 and break down the action-packed classic Mad Max: Fury Road. Stay tuned. Welcome to Scary World, where we walk you through the latest and greatest in the world of horror. I am your host, Arturo Padilla.
Hi.
For those of you just joining us, don't forget to subscribe up above and say what's up down below. We have one major rule around here, folks. No spoilers. Now that we got that out of the way, there are 5 categories: production, story, ensemble, horror, and legacy. Each category can score the maximum of 2 points.
Showtime.
Per IMDb, the synopsis goes, in a post-apocalyptic wasteland, a woman rebels against a tyrannical ruler in search for her homeland with the aid of a group of female prisoners, a psychotic worshiper, and a drifter named Max. Director George Miller returns to the post-apocalyptic wasteland to direct his finest feature and the best installment of the Mad Max franchise. This movie looks fantastic. The camera work is exceptional. Every shot is composed and framed to perfection. From the close-ups to the extreme wide shots, everything is coherent, impactful, and super freaking effective. The sound editing is top-notch, elevating the madness on the screen. All of the technical aspects of this production were executed at an elite level. This movie looks and sounds great. If you did not have the opportunity to see it on the big screen when it was released back in 2015, I am sorry for you guys, because this looked even better on an IMAX screen. You could watch it on 4K now because it's streaming on Max that way, but my goodness, this thing still holds up to this day. It still looks great. There are some moments of CG there that I would have liked them to polish up a little bit, but everything is done so well that you can overlook the little details like that. This whole entire movie was just awesome. And for all the hard work this group of filmmakers did to accomplish what they did on screen, this movie gets the full score of a 2 for production. Like I said, folks, this thing looks fantastic. If you have not had the chance to see it on a 4K television, do so if you can. You can see how vibrant everything is, how the action sequences pop and all of that. This thing was made for the big screen. It was made for a big blockbuster crowd to enjoy. The script and the story was written by George Miller, and he had some help from Brendan McCarthy, who had previously written episodic TV, specifically the animated show Reboot for ABC. He also had assistance from Nico Latharis, who is helping him out in the upcoming Furiosa movie. They did a great job with this script. The story is simple, but it's enveloped in beautifully complex action set pieces. All the acts are hefty, but they flow nicely and hit all the right notes on the way to a very awesome third act. This story captivates you and grips you from the very beginning and does not let you go until the very end credits. I really enjoyed this story. I loved what they did here. I loved how they focused on Furiosa primarily and her story arc and let Max just do his thing in the background. I think that was very smart, and it definitely helped this movie. And for the very awesome story that we got and the great script that we got, the awesome set pieces that they were able to include in this movie are just phenomenal. I can't even begin to describe that. We'll talk more about that in the coming segments. But this thing was written with action in mind, and they do not disappoint. This movie gets the full score of a 2 for story. This entire cast did a superb job with their respective roles. Tom Hardy is as stoic as ever in his portrayal as Max. He commands the screen without much dialogue, and it is a sight to behold.
In this wasteland, I am the one who runs from both the living and the dead. A reduced to a single instinct.
Charlize Theron is the anchor of this entire movie, and she does a brilliant job with her portrayal of Furiosa.
Oh, here! 3,000 gallons of gasoline, just like you asked. I'm gonna unhitch the pod. You dropped the rocks.
Her story arc is what drives this movie, and it does not disappoint. As I was saying in the previous segment, adding Furiosa's story arc and making it the story A here is the smart move. It is the better of the story, and it allows Max to shine on the background, to do what Max does best, and it is to kick ass and to make it look good on screen. And that is exactly what Tom Hardy does as Mad Max in this movie. And Charlize Theron as Furiosa is just absolutely phenomenal.
Don't breathe.
And the reason why we even have a Furiosa movie releasing this week. The character is great, and she does a great job with that portrayal. It has layers upon layers of emotion and complexity that this universe lacks, honestly. Mad Max is so one note. I should say he's so one note most of the time that it can get rather boring on screen. And it was very smart to include Charlize and her story here, and the rogue band of women prisoners and the desert mothers that were out there that they found. All that stuff was very cool and helped this story shine. And the cast was the main reason. They had a great ensemble put together, and the ensemble knew exactly what their mission was, and it was to knock this out of the park. And that's exactly what they did. And for the awesome cast and the awesome characters, this movie gets the full score of 2 for ensemble. This was definitely an ensemble piece. Yes, Charlene shines, and so does Tom Hardy, but without the supporting cast, this would have lacked a lot. So this is why this is the definition of an ensemble piece. You needed every single person to play their role perfectly, and that is what they did. There is plenty of post-apocalyptic violence and kills to keep any genre fan happy. The majority of the brutality is practical, and it looks gorgeous on the screen. This goes back to the production. Everything just looks amazing. I don't know what kind of magic George Miller was working with, but he made this thing look outstanding. They did a tremendous job with all the makeup and all the prosthetics. Every character has a unique look that really helps them stand out amongst the pack. From the War Boys to Immortan Joe to the people from the Bullet Farm and the Gas Farm, everyone has just a nice special look to them that makes their performances and their time on screen memorable. As mentioned before, this movie is all action, and the filmmakers did a great job with the suspense and the tension in every set piece. Every time there is action on the screen, which is primarily the entire movie, you are holding on for dear life. You want to know what happens next. You are in it to win it with these characters, and the emotion and the suspense and the tension that comes along with all the action that they're feeling in the movie. You feel it yourself because everything is shot so well. It's made so you can sit in the cockpit or in the driver's cabin with these characters and feel that hot fire and feel the bullets flying around you. This thing was shot for action, and specifically for action, and they did a fantastic job filming all the set pieces. As I mentioned, almost everything was practically done when it came to these chases, and it is just a sight to behold because, my goodness, the amount of stunt work done here, the amount of pyrotechnics done, the amount of coordination that everything must have taken. It must have been a crazy Mount Everest kind of effort. And I commend them completely for it because it looks fantastic on the screen. I cannot say that enough. Especially when you watch it now on 4K or on a very nice television, you can see the quality. You can see exactly what the vision is that George Miller wanted to put out there and how successful that vision truly was. And for the outstanding action, the awesome suspense and the tension, the practical work, all the bloody kills and the brutality, this movie gets the full score of 2 for the category of horror. This was an excellent movie. I really enjoyed the entirety of this film. This production far exceeds any of the previous Mad Max movies by leaps and bounds. It successfully polishes up a world we were familiar seeing through a different lens. This world is rich with story and characters, and this movie showcases that. They really did an amazing job revamping and updating this universe. It is completely different from Thunderdome and Road Warrior and the initial Mad Max. In comparison, they're 2 very different universes with 2 very different themes and tones and vibes. And I am so glad that we were able to witness Fury Road back in 2015. Because that really cemented the real post-apocalyptic Mad Max world. Some people are going to kill me for this, but I could care less for what happens back with the Mel Gibson movies. Yes, they were enjoyable to a certain point, but they were not Fury Road. They did not have the action of Fury Road, the look of Fury Road. They didn't have the vibe of this movie. And this is what really makes this movie stand out from every other movie in the franchise. This thing freaking rocked. And for the white knuckle thrill ride that we get and all the suspense and tension, the amazing revamping of this universe, this movie gets a 2 for the category of legacy. I cannot wait to see what they do with Furiosa. I need to see what happens with that character and what happened to her in the past. I'm very excited to see how that turns out, and I'm hoping it turns out just as good as Fury Road did. So to tally it up, Mad Max Fury Road received a 2 for production, a 2 for story, a 2 for ensemble, a 2 for horror, and a 2 for legacy, bringing its total score up to a perfect 10. I cannot praise this movie enough, folks. If you have not seen Mad Max Fury Road, head on over to Max, the streaming platform, and go watch this thing. They also have their previous installments of Mad Max, so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. They have Mad Max, Road Warrior, and Thunderdome there. You can see how the vibe and the tones change from movie to movie, but then you get Fury Road, which is completely different than anything you've seen before, and it definitely stands the test of time, and it is an absolute classic. George Miller definitely hit a home run with this movie, and I cannot wait to see Furiosa.
Can you tell me what time it is?
And that's a wrap, folks. Thank you for watching Scary World. Don't forget to drop a comment down below and hit the thumbs up on the video. Most importantly, do not forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel, folks. Tell all your friends, your family, and their pets to come on down to YouTube. Subscribe to CorpseFeed. We have spoiler-free horror movie reviews for you guys dropping every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We also have the official CorpseFeed podcast, The Morgue, dropping every Tuesday wherever you get your podcast streams. We are also on all the social platforms. Go like, subscribe, and share because we are there. And we will see you on Friday for another episode. And remember, it's a scary world out there, but we are here to walk you through it.